Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories first. River State. Sacked PDP executives urge members to be calm. Edo State. APC PDP clash as thugs shoot at election tribunal. On Lagos State, Onochie affirms Seyi Tinubu's governorship eligibility. And on Benue State, APC Forum supports Alia's second term amid conflict. Court restrains PDP from removing Anyanwu as secretary. And Ohaneze Ndigbo, Azota Mbata receives 7-day ultimatum to resign presidency. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
The oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe that is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they want.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Mr. President, my people are on the sea. On this place, economic stability.
But would you like to leave of this minister and the
People access to our money. I've always said there are two types of people: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea. On this place, economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought that would you like to leave of this minister and the
People access to our money. I've always said there are two types of people: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a regular on Open Conversation and a political analyst, Chizi Nyomasila. Chizi, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dorisha, and good morning, Nigeria again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Chizi. You read on my show this year, yes?
I'm just wishing those who have not seen me Happy New Year.
Oh, okay, nice. And on to the story. Rivers State High Court recently ruled that the state executives of the People's Democratic Party were improperly elected and subsequently sacked them from their positions. This decision has sparked significant controversy and division within the party in Rivers State. The court found that the elections held for the executives did not adhere to the party's established guidelines and procedures, leading to the conclusion that the current leadership was not legitimately in power. Following the ruling, the ousted executives expressed their disappointment and concern over the implications this decision may have on the party's unity and future activities. They emphasized their commitment to the PDP and its objectives, insisting that they would continue to engage in party activities and advocate for the interests of their constituents. The SAC leaders believe that the court ruling is unjust and plan to challenge it in higher courts, seeking to overturn the decision and restore their positions. The situation has created a tense atmosphere within the PDP in Rivers State, with both factions now preparing for potential legal battles. The faction that remains in power is expected to call for new congresses to elect a new set of executives, which could further complicate the party's internal dynamics. Meanwhile, the ousted executives are rallying their supporters and urging party members to remain calm and united during this turbulent period.
Well, the Congress that elected these executives. But don't forget that this executive, I can tell you that 99% of them were also the executives that were there when he was nominated as candidate of the party. The only change being the chairman, and the chairman, the current chairman, inherited being the acting chairman until Congress was. And on what ground did the court now rule that they were illegitimate? But you see, we have the higher courts to look up to look at the technicalities and see the biases that they are in higher court. I'm not saying that, but if you trace the history of these persons,
Emeka Nwoko and Love Otonye, you know, the courts in this ruling reinstated, Emeka Nwoko and Love Otonye as state executives. And that brings me to another question, Chizi.
Yeah.
How, at what point, do you know Emeka Nwoko before now? Nwoko in question, do you know him before now? You know, that have been the questions on the lips of people. How did he emerge, and what was the locus for the court to, make him the PDP chairman?
That is what I want to say in that. Maybe there was a congress in the courtyard that brought Emeka Nwoko, because he wasn't even a member. He didn't contest for any congress. There was no congress that he could. He wasn't even a member of.
I wanted to also ask, prior to the election, or before Aaron Chukwuemeka became the caretaker committee chairman that led to this Congress that saw his emergence. This Nwoko, was he ever at any point, the previous executives, was he the chairman at any point in time?
He was not. That's what I'm saying. You know the chairman. The chairman was Desmond Akawo. And Aaron was the deputy chairman. And then upon the resignation of Aaron because of his appointment, Aaron became the acting chairman. Of course, that's constitutional. And then,
upon the resignation of Desmond or Aaron?
Desmond Akawo.
Okay.
Aaron became the acting chairman as the deputy chairman. He was acting and until when there was Congress that now made him chairman and changed. At what point did this one come up? Like I said, everything, it looks like anything and everything can happen in River State. The question is, where did you buy the form that you contested? Did you contest an election? When did you buy those forms? Do you just bring somebody and feel that the person bought form and then you can do anything? Well, we will not. The court has ruled. And then, of course, there is a higher court. These people are approaching the higher court. I want to ask, do you just bring somebody from nowhere and then make the person chairman? Maybe the governor and the judge may have conducted a congress of their own.
That brings me to the second question. You are insinuating by your statement that the governor had an overbearing influence in the outcome of this judgment against the PDP.
Of course, it is very, very obvious. That's what is happening. Is it until we begin to stay here to begin to say the truth the way it is? We all know this. The question is, if you like I used to say, I've said this thing, as much as I do not permit sin. I said if you have to sin with sense. I mean, if the man had even contested for the Congress, I mean, assuming that he's even contested with Aaron, his bought form, contested with Aaron, and maybe lost in any other way, would have said, okay, now if you are saying the Congress were not conducted correctly, and then you are imposing another person as the chairman of the Congress and another person as secretary, so what are you saying? That's the question. Did he are we not in this state? I don't need to be a member of the PDP to know what is happening in the PDP. We knew when the congresses were held. We knew that the governor didn't attend the Congress. We knew that his people didn't go for the Congress. We knew that the Congress was held at the party secretariat, and the national bodies came, the INEC came to supervise that Congress, and all of the assembly members and their delegates were there.
You know, there was a court order barring that Congress from holding.
Now the question will be, assuming without conceding that court order has anything to do. Now, if you had barred that Congress from holding, so which Congress produced this other person? That's the question.
You're trying to cook up a conundrum right now.
It's not. I'm not cooking it up.
In the sense that, well, not cooking it up, but you're raising another conundrum. The question now you're asking, if I get you clear, is that you're saying, in the first instance, now the court barred this Congress from happening. And on the ground of illegitimacy. Now, these other persons that the court ruled in favor of and, you know, made them the executives of PDP River State, which Congress produced them? Are they not illegitimate as well?
Yes.
Is that your question?
That's my question.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that, assuming with that consideration, I will never concede to that illegitimacy thing, saga, that, okay, you brought up something and it's okay, the Congress is illegitimate and shouldn't hold. Now, the same Congress that is illegitimate, I can tell you that it was the offshoot of that pronouncement that brought this judgment. And now, upon that same pronouncement, you took the pronouncement to an extent where it now brought judgment and now imposed a chairman. Oh, from where? That's why you know the hand that is working around these things. I mean, I've been calling on NJC to look into River State judiciary. I mean, a lot of things are happening. There are a lot of judicial rascality. It doesn't matter whether I'm in the PDP or not. But you should just look at it. Common sense will tell you that you said, the same court said, this is illegitimate. The same court produced somebody who came out of that illegitimacy. How would you give something on nothing? You have said this thing does not exist.
Did not come out of that illegitimacy.
Oh, there's a Congress.
It wasn't the product of the Congress that the courts declared.
Which of the Congress produced him?
That would be the question. Which Congress produced Nwoko?
What I see.
Sorry, not Emeka Nwoko. Edwin Nwoko.
Let me put up this logic.
Yes, go ahead.
Now, there was a pronouncement, so to say, by the court, barring the Congress from holding for illegitimacy. Right? And now we know that there was no other Congress. And in court, You don't bring up a matter halfway. Now, that is the matter that is being in the court to know whether it was illegitimacy or not. And the court has now come to give a judgment to say that that thing we said it was illegitimate was actually illegitimate. And in doing that, the court went ahead to conduct the primaries and the congress of the party and now pronounce somebody. Now, you are saying this thing is illegitimate, but that the one we are bringing is legitimate. That's what it means. I don't know why we you know, Larissa, maybe you don't know, I've been dodging coming on air because I don't see people just talk about sentiment and look at something, and as soon as you take a position, they say you are for this person or you are for the other person. I don't know how that a court came and said this is illegitimate. That means that assuming again that even we bought from, assuming again that he bought for, he participated in that same congress, that means that that congress was illegitimate, including the and this person. But to my understanding, all of a sudden, a man appeared from nowhere. Remember that they didn't stop the congress because of rigging, irregularities. They didn't stop the congress for rigging. They didn't say that somebody went to court to say, look, I am the chairman, I have been elected congress. They stopped the congress for illegitimacy, meaning that the congress should have stopped then, assuming they wanted to do that. Now another congress head where it will be regularized. But they never did that. So what they now did was to now wait and then give a judgment. And I said, no, don't just leave this judgment like this. Because if we leave this judgment like this, yes, there may be that if these people refuse to appeal, there may be another congress where we cannot participate. They name somebody. They just brought somebody and name. That is assuming that I'm even a member of the PDP. That is if the person is a member of the PDP.
Now,
you know why I said so?
Go ahead.
Why I said if the person is a member of the PDP? Because there was a revalidation exercise that was not carried on by the PDP.
Yes, and that revalidation exercise, the governor did not participate
in that, meaning that the governor.
So now, the governor does not have a party.
Yes,
you know that he is part of the PDP's governors forum. I think he's the second man in PDP's governors forum.
That you are the chairman of the PDP governors forum does not make you a party member. Let me tell you what, he was elected the deputy chairman of the PDP governors forum after his election. Then he was still a member of the party until the party came up with the revalidation exercise. What's the revalidation? Revalidation said if you are a member, come and revalidate your membership. If you don't revalidate, then you're not a member of the party. So as at the time he went, he didn't go to revalidate. As if he hasn't revalidated, on which platform?
Now,
and just know that the governors forum is they are not part, they are not the organs of the PDP.
Yes, agreed. Now, on the other hand, now you brought up the issue of revalidation of membership within the PDP.
Yeah.
Now, Edwin Woko, when he was speaking, the first time his name was ever heard, you know, in the media, he clearly pledged allegiance to the. It is clear, you know, where Edwin Woko's allegiance stands. But the question is, now the governor and his supporters did not revalidate.
Meaning that Edwin Woko may not have been dead.
It is also very possible that Edwin Woko may not have revalidated during that exercise. Now, where does that place Edwin Woko as a PDP member and Love Tony as well as PDP members?
You know, we are all suspecting that he didn't revalidate.
Yes.
Now, sir, I want to use that word. If he didn't revalidate as at that point, you know, having pledged his alliance to and knowing that 100% of the supporters of SIM did not revalidate. In fact, instead they went to APP. So what they have done now is to take APP person and then make executive of the PDP. So he's not. So on what ground did they rule? That's what I'm saying. They didn't also rule. What we came here now is to talk about the fact that it was fraudulent, it was this, and then so at the Congress that would have been another thing. But now that you also gave them, you also elected for them, gave them executive. Which delegate elected those executives? That's the first thing you should understand. Which of the delegates elected them? You see, in trying to do something like I will keep saying it, we should be intelligent about it. People will ask questions. The man came up openly to say, no, I'm here, I'm not with you. And then all of a sudden now you now brought the man. And if there's any is that this man was a member or is a member of the APP. Because they all participated in this thing.
You can't say he's a member of the APP. Why would you say they all participated? Did you see it?
Anybody who is, the word they use, simplified, who is seen, they are saying simplify. Me, I'm saying simplify, amplify. That's seen, being amplified. Any member of this, they are seen, amplified. We are members of the APP. The only person that didn't declare to be a member of APP was seen, the governor, because the governor was a RISEC chairman, being the party person. The governor was the one presiding over the RISEC affairs.
Why would they say the governor?
The governor was in RISEC announcing and doing his press conference in RISEC. Where does it happen in the world? So what else? Who would be there? It is either the chairman is doing it, or the governor, or the co-chairman is doing it. So the governor was there doing it. So that's where I saw the governor. That's not where the governor was supposed to address the River State public. So if he was there, the only person I know, members of the RISEC. And so if the governor was there at that point, it means that he was the person present over the elections.
Now let's look at this whole situation, and it is, one can liken it to what has happened with the APC.
Sure.
APC is also going through the same quagmire, and it appears that this whole thing will look alike, in the sense that APC National has insisted that it is Tonio culture that they recognized. Now, in this instance, PDP National, even though it's might also take the same position as the APC National. Where does that leave PDP?
PDP, I want to speak that in PDP, of course, you know that to our advantage, those of us who are APC, to our advantage, PDP.
How is it the advantage of APC when APC itself is having its own crisis?
It is an advantage. See, the crisis in APC is not like the APC is more of River State than the national.
Okay.
Now, but the problem in PDP is from the national.
Trickling down to
River State. And I can tell you that the house divided against itself cannot stand. Advantage who are APC member that PDP is doing what they are doing. Because you see PDP today, this camp is announcing the other one. So what you will see, if there is going to be support from the national, is a factions of the PDP supporting this one and a faction of the PDP.
Debo will come and speak.
Now speak for this person. Edu and this one is speaking. Will speak. Then that means that upon yes, now that means that we have a greener light than the PDP in the state, because we have the National Working Committee and the National Executive Committee of the party supporting the authentic chairman, which is Chief Tony Okocha in River State, and then they are going for, and like I told you before, that the party, we do not have a registered political party in River State. The party exists as an entity registered under the CSC and INEC at the national, and so what we have is one party. And so, but if you go to that same party at the national, now being balkanized, anything can. But let me tell you what is happening in River State. River State is that my governor, the governor Sim Fura, wants to defect to another political party, and so
which is what?
I don't know the political party.
Okay.
Which is why he is trying to make sure that there is, because there is a provision in the constitution that says upon the division in a political party you can defect. Is to look at a family that is united and then divide them, and then he will not defect. So he will not have to prove that before. And
the defection must be, the crisis must be as a function of leadership crisis.
Leadership crisis.
Because you have to be clear on that. There has to be leadership crisis.
Yes, on leadership crisis. So when they are in court, even if he knows that this court, the court of first instance, will not see the light of the day at the court of appeal, what he will do is, before the court of appeal judgment, he would have defected. And so if you do anything, he will say, they are being clever, look, they were divided.
But it's the House of Assembly that is bound by this particular law. Governors bound by this particular law.
No. All elected officials are bound by that law. All elected. So he knows that he cannot defect. So he's trying to just get away and then do it. So I think that is what's happening. If not, why would? And here is my problem. I am not saying that in human evolution or human growth or history that we do not have crisis, even if you are one. But this crisis of Rivers State, what I see it in is, if there's anybody I have spoken to as a person, personally, that is at the center, that is trying to bring everybody together, is Aaron. I'm not exaggerating it.
Aaron, Chukwemeka Aaron.
Yes, even the governor has said so in a fashion that if everybody is like Aaron, there wouldn't have been crisis. And the same Aaron now. So it looks like if the governor sees that there is peace in this place, he now goes and do some trouble, you know, and say, let there be trouble. I don't like, there are people who enjoy trouble. Then he goes here and says, no, my family. You know, like a father who says, no, why are they united together? The only time I see that is in polygamous home. You know, it has happened in my house before. But we quickly came and said, I will ask members to quickly come around, and I know that this thing is not their problem, because one time, you know, when I was going to university, and my younger one was also going to university. My younger one was University of Benin, I was University of Lagos, I mean the University of Port Harcourt. Each time I come back to collect money from my father will tell me, why not give me money or tell me that there's no money? My father will tell me, no, your brother Samson came just now and collected all the money. And then my brother Samson will come and my father will tell my brother Samson the same thing. So what does he want us to do? So when we knew that that was the same thing that he was doing, we knew that this man wanted to have one kind of divide and rule. And you know, the man wanted to rule his home by doing divide and rule. So it's like somebody rising up one day to say that this family is too calm. Let me divide them. I mean, that's what's happening in River State.
Interesting. Also to Periscope on this matter this morning is Olorin Godwin. Olorin Godwin is a political analyst. Good morning, Olorin, and welcome.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, to you.
Olorin, what do you make of this story?
The SAC PDP executives, urging members to remain calm. Well, it's a norm. At every time there are crises, it is bound to address its followers, to always encourage them and assuage their fears, you know, and make sure that they don't lose faith and confidence in whatever system that there is. So the court has sacked them, and I think as it stands now, from what I gathered this morning from some stations, that the security operatives have taken over the party secretariat. So which means the party is not functioning now. There are nobody, no personnel, no manpower there. So
does the party need the secretariat to function?
Yes.
I will recall when there was crisis with the local government secretariats, you know, with regards to the ousting of the former local government chairman and the current one, the embassy. You know, the governor told the local government chairman they can operate from their hotel, they can operate from their houses. So now the question will be, what makes up the secretariat? That's human beings. That's just a structure.
Well,
don't you agree?
Well, for administrative purposes, the secretariat was built for party administration, party business. So if you are displaced, if your house is not in order, if your house is on fire, and you're displaced, trust me, it's going to some large extent affect the running of or program of the system. And you know that because there and then, before their ouster, they should have documents. They should have essential or very, very crucial documents or stuffs that they use in running the party. So when you are ousted and the place is it's under siege, you cannot access the secretariat. Of course, there will be a glitch in administration. There will be issues in administration. So they are being displaced. When you shoot a bird and maybe you destroy the nest of a bird, and the bird doesn't know where to even perch or sleep, it's discomforted on something. Do you understand? So as it stands now, the PDP secretariat is being laid siege by security, probably to forestall peace and order or to ensure security of the property. So the party, as far as I'm concerned right now, the Chukwemeka Aaron-led administration or executive in the River State PDP are neither here nor there.
And what do you make of the new executives that was put in place by the court, Edwin Woko and Lobo Twain?
The new executive?
Yes, because when the court was in this ruling, you know, when they sacked Chukwemeka Aaron and his executives, the two persons, the persons that Edwin Woko
The claimants.
and Love Otoye were the claimants.
Okay.
And part of their prayers was that the court should recognize them as the executives of PDP in Rivers State. And the court went ahead to grant that prayer. So now, if Aaron Chukwemeka is neither here nor there, I mean Aaron and his executives are neither here or there, where does that also put Edwin Woko? Considering the fact that Edwin in the first instance did not even contest for any electoral position during the congresses in PDP, and at no point in time, to the best of my knowledge, did Edwin Woko contest for election or was a chairman in that sense.
Well, if the court, if that's part of their prayers and the court has so granted their prayers, well, they take effect. It takes effect because it's the court. It's a ruling, and it makes them, and they are now legitimate. They are now recognized. They are now legalized because the court said so.
Because the court.
Yes, the court said so.
All right. Now you are a member of the APC, yes.
Yes.
And you're well versed, with the party constitution.
Okay.
You know your party constitution very well.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask you some questions from your party constitution. How does elected officers from political parties emerge?
Elected officers from political parties, they come through congresses.
Through congresses.
Yeah, sure.
So now, second question: can the court impose officers who are not elected on a political party?
The same court, the same scenario arose during the Igwe Aguma time. Are you aware?
Go ahead.
In APC, my party APC, and suddenly recognized and elected executive were ousted by the court, and the claimants of that petition, of that case, of the matter, were actually reinstated or actually installed by the court.
Who are the claimants?
Igwe Aguma and Co. You are aware?
Maybe correct. Okay.
Igwe Aguma and Co. There was a time Igwe Aguma was the APC Rivers State caretaker chairman.
Caretaker.
Are you with me?
Not elected.
Yes. Are you with me? So there are rooms for such setup. Then the Love and Co. Those that were actually claiming in the matter that just favored them now could actually be acting.
Now there's a difference. Igwe Aguma, according to you, was reinstated by court as caretaker.
Okay.
So they did not emerge by election through congresses. They emerged by appointment. If that is the case.
The court made them. Bottom line, the court made them.
Hold on. There is a difference between appointment and election. Clear difference.
The court made them. The point is leadership. The point is party leadership. Yes, party leadership. So you ask me, does the court has the right or powers to impose party leadership or impose personnel to hold the power? And I just made the reference to judicial precedents. Remember that Igwe Aguma in APC then was a party caretaker chairman in APC because he came through the courts.
All right, very well. Okay, since we are looking at judicial precedents, let us look at Supreme Court judgment. You recall Supreme Court judgment. It was your party APC that even secured that judgment, where the Supreme Court held that the judiciary will not interfere into the runnings, the internal affairs of political parties.
And the Supreme Court has made such rulings, right? And I want to ask you, so how come the judiciary keep interfering in political party affairs? I'm asking you now.
Why would you ask me that?
I will ask you. You just said that the Supreme Court, our apex court of the land.
Are you aware of that judgment?
I'm aware. I'm aware of the matter. It was our matter. It was our matter.
All right.
I'm fully versed in that matter.
Yeah, okay.
And I ask you.
You can't be asking me.
I'm saying.
Because you're the politician here.
And I'm actually saying, you know what? The courts are there to entertain matters of perceived hurts or injustices. when somebody feels aggrieved. That's why the courts are there. So sometimes you want to try to balance these things, but there is always an imbalance.
Are you also aware of what the Supreme Court held when it comes to conflict resolution in political parties?
Yes.
What did the
that members ought to have exhaust the internal mechanism for peace resolution, resolution of conflict. I'm aware.
Okay. All right. I'm listening.
I'm aware.
All right.
So, if the matters weren't resolved to the best of the interest of the aggrieved party, they have to seek redress in the court.
The question would be, was it even, did the parties in this instance, employ the internal mechanisms of the political party to resolve whatever conflict?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Because I'm not a party to it.
All right, very well.
I'm a party to it.
Okay.
I'm not a panel of the panel that a body member of the panel that was constituted to resolving such issues within the party.
All right, very well. Chizi, you wanted to say something with respect to Igwaguma.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Firstly, let me state here so we don't. If we have to inform the public, we have to inform them correctly. Number one is that party exists with its party secretariat. It is part of the condition for party registration. In fact, before you register a political party, you would have shown an evidence of having a party's secretariat at 24, the minimum of 24 states in the country. So party secretariat is, and then again, it has to be at the party capital, so that if your local government, this thing is in other local government, it could also be sued. So it is part of it. Then again, secondly is that we have that the police went and cordoned the place. Of course, when they say there is a fence, the fence can be to fence out an invader, external invader, or to protect those who are there. So we don't know whether the police that is there is actually telling Aaron, please be there, so that this will not come and do something, or they are saying no. So I don't want to talk about that, but if I know that the police knows their law, they will not ask Aaron to move out. No, for who? Then again, he mentioned the fact that this can't be likened to Emma Aguma. First, Emma Aguma was a member of the State Executive Committee. Just know that. A member of the State Executive Committee. All those who went to court were members of the State Executive Committee. And the court ruled that in the event that the elected people are no longer there by the court judgment, that the State Executive Committee should now become the caretaker until an elected government is there. Now, this is not like this. This is like court saying, okay, you are not the elected person. The court cannot impose an elected person. It is like court saying, okay.
No, is it impose an elected person, or the court cannot elect somebody for...
The court cannot elect the person for any club, not even a political party. Now, it's like, let me give you the scenario. It's like I contested the governorship of Rivers State with him, and then we are there in court, and all of a sudden, Court of Appeal says, no, I'm no longer the governor. And then went and brought somebody and said, the person is governor, who is not, who didn't even contest. Who does that? In which no court does that. Apart from the fact that the court knows that there is a Supreme Court judgment that says they shouldn't interfere. Apart from that. But like I've said, what they are doing here, look at the law books of the judgments that are there. And they will look at it and remove their face from it and give a judgment. Because the judgment they are going to give is not, I know a judge, I don't want to mention his name. He's my friend, he's my brother. I know a judge who gave a ruling. And I went and told him about this ruling. This ruling he gave in this thing, this ruling cannot hold. He told me that he will be surprised if Court of Appeal holds this judgment. He told me that he will be surprised. So if you will be surprised that they hold this, why did you give the judgment? He said, boy, I have to give it to, because there are some interest that needs to do something. At that point, they just wanted to do it. Because if not, why would you do? If there is anything that could, again, be likened to this kind of judgment, would it have been the Emma Aguma's own of the APC? No. It would have been the Felix Oboya and Ake. Now, again, I can tell you the difference between that judgment. The difference between that judgment is that Felix Oboya bought form, contested, but were asked to step down. And so he bought form. Now, why did they remove Ake? You see, like I said, we learn every day. It was the Supreme Court that removed Ake. We learn every day. That judgment, before that, let me tell you, Lauricia, all I have done, apart from the very small period I worked, all I have done is party politics. All I have done is party. I don't do anything apart from party politics. I'm not even talking about being a politician. I'm talking about there's difference between party politics and other party politics. So I can tell you to certain extent, I have little authority in party politics. And in that list, what was it that we learned? Before this Felix Obua and Ake case, what normally will happen is, as soon as they say, well, you're going to be the party chairman or the other person, everybody relaxes, whether they bring form or not, just keep it, because nobody is actually interrogating that process. And so that's what happened to Felix Obua, to Ake. They said, Ake, you're going to be chairman. Ake was participating as chairman. Ake was